days of ridership, and I understand that.
You know, air quality, I guess, seems to be a big topic, but I'm a respiratory therapist, and I agree with our physician over here that, I mean, we see the gigantic jump, especially in childhood asthma and other respiratory problems in here. And so I'm just curious about on state level for long-term planning. What can we do at the state level in order, like you said, to attract some of those greener companies into the state, not only for revenue and for jobs, but also what can we do to help force UPNL or some of the other energy companies into actually using these products? So I travel a lot as well, and like when I go through Iowa, you see tons and tons of windmills. Over the border there outside Evanston, tons of windmills. Over the border in Idaho, windmills. But here in Utah, what are we going to do to help?
May I state the sidebar to what you just said?
Sure.
This may be unpopular, but I used to live in Taylor, and they burn their fields all the time out there. These farmers go out and crop dust their fields, and then I know that pesticide doesn't have time to break down. They burn their fields every fall. They're out there burning the phthalates, or whatever they're called out, phlagmites, I guess, the phlagmites out on the lake. We now live in North Ogden, up on the hill where we can see down, and I know when those farmers burn, that smoke doesn't just go up to heaven and disappear. It spreads out, comes up here along the bench, and sits over these people that live on these bench for days. And it goes up at night, or up in the day, and then it comes back down at night. And I'm thinking, that's something no one has looked at, how much they burn. And these farmers out there are not the kind of farmers that put food on your table. These are horse hobbyists. They do a lot of barrel racing, a lot of chariot racing. They may raise a few beef, they keep on the green belt, but basically they're just hobbyist people who have they raise hay and whatever they raise, and they burn their fields. Anyway, just kind of a complaint.
Well, I mean, good points. I mean, as we grow, it's going to become more of an issue. Just back to the renewable energy, our state laws right now don't allow large renewable energy projects. Salt Lake County, we're trying to do some projects, or I shouldn't say they don't allow, but they limit what you can do, both financially and in terms of the types of projects you want to build. Because we're trying to build some solar projects. And the state laws don't allow us to financially do it, and there's limitations as to how big a project you can build as well. And I certainly understand some of the opposing points, and a lot of them come from Utah Power, which is a regulated utility, and they're nervous about people coming in and essentially creating power without being regulated when they're regulated. So there's things that need to be worked out, but certainly we need to change our state laws to allow us to do some of these projects. That's why some of these companies don't come here, because our state laws prevent us from doing a lot of what we want to do.
All right, so as governor then, how would you help focus the legislature to try to get that done? Good question.
Go and change the state laws. Actually, we're doing some of that right now. We have a bill this year. We had a bill last year and the year before. So every time we see something that becomes problematic, we go up and try to change the laws.
You as a Democratic governor would be a big help for balance, but there would still be a lot of secrecy. Do you have an idea about what you might do to affect the level of secrecy in our legislature as governor of Utah?
Well, I can only handle what I'm allowed to as governor, like you can as the mayor. I mean, first of all, open up cabinet meetings. Did that in my office. Have open meetings with citizens where they can sit there and yell at you as much as they want, and believe me, they do. And have open door meetings where people can come into my office, and I do that every other month, and get people who come and visit with me, and go out and have town hall meetings. And it's really just going out to the public. Not that, I hate to criticize people, but now our current governor, I never see him on TV. I know his press secretary on a first name basis, because she's always the one speaking. But oftentimes you don't hear the governor up there speaking. It's always somebody else speaking for him. And I think the best government is the government that is close to the people. And oftentimes that's your local governments, but I don't see why our state government can't be more open with the people. Try to do more business in public, and having caucus meetings open, which I think should happen up at the state capitol as well. What do we have to hide? sometimes things are controversial. Sometimes maybe you do need to talk to somebody separately about something, but I think when we're having larger meetings, they should be open to the
I
public.
think your governor could apply pressure to those caucuses to have them.
Yeah.
Higher education, I think, is efficient and effective. But I realize there's a disconnect on budgets, but it's devastating to have everything in place, all of your students and all of the personnel for the mid-year budget cut, even though the budget is put in place in January. Would there be any way to, do you think, to smooth that out so the budget cuts to higher ed would come at the beginning of a year so that it could be planned rather than in the middle of a year when it's already been there?
What I'd like to see in other states do it, where somebody comes into the education system, I think we should guarantee their tuition for the 4 years that they're going, or 2 years or 4 years, or however many years it takes them to go through the system. That way, a student knows how much it's going to cost them, and they can plan for that to get through the education system. I think that's a way that you can guarantee the cost. They can plan for it, and they know how long it's going to take them to get through the system. I know it does affect the budget, and so you have to be careful about that, but I think it really is a way to allow people to get into the system and get through it and know how much it's going to cost them. Right now, we're seeing some colleges are looking at closing their campuses. Some students can't get into classes that they want to take, so they're delayed from getting into the job market. We're seeing class sizes increasing, and the governor's budget shows that class sizes will increase not only for K to 12 but for higher ed as well. So we're seeing really in some sense a disdain for the importance of education, because people think, well, cutting our budgets will be the solution to all this, and then when times get better, then we can put money back into the system. Meanwhile, it's not very easy to do, and you've lost a few people along the way. So, and just back to education, there's a study that shows that somebody who gets a college education versus just a high school education will make on average $1 million more in their lifetime. That's average. Not everybody needs a college education. Some people do perfectly well without one, but certainly overall, it certainly does make a difference to have that higher education.
Just touch on education at the local level or even across the nation. I understand that teacher pays are horrendously low, and one of the other things I've been told is that they're extremely frustrated if they're not able to teach. They feel like they're more test preparers, and they have to, once the Kansas or the Iowa tests come up and go by, then the rest of the education is unimportant because they've already met their quote requirement for getting their GPA off the Iowa or Kansas standardized test.
There's some good models out there which work. Testing obviously is important, but it's not the end-all be-all, and we certainly shouldn't make our teachers test preparers. They should be teachers, educators, not test preparers.
That's one of the issues I was told by teachers I ever met. I was a substitute teacher in Arkansas, and I just happened to be asking around about that. And I got like it was a firestorm when I used to bring the subject up, because they said, hey, we can't do our job. And for me, I prefer we go back, like you said, back in the 70s, where you had homework counted, attendance counted, tests counted, quizzes counted, and you put that all together and come up with a final grade. Not depend on 80% on one standardized test.
Good comments. Anybody else? Yes?
See, I was listening to him and I lost my train of thought.
Should we come back?
Our dropout rate is, high school dropout rate is not good. I mean, it's too good. Too many students are dropping out. Is there any way that you could set up a task force or something to look into why these students are dropping